We are live. Hey, everyone. How are you? I felt like a deer in a headlight right there. Boom. Whoa, it's on. We're going live. We are live, baby. We're going to do this live, and we are going to wing it. We are going to so wing it tonight. I have nothing prepared. I have a few ideas, but nothing really in detail and nothing in stone. So if there's anything you guys in the chat want the Pontificators to pontificate on, that is what we will do. So we're just going to wing it. We're going to have fun. There's a lot of competition tonight. There's a lot of people live streaming. So if you guys could, and you're listening right now, give this a thumbs up. Help get the word out with your social media and all that other good stuff. And see if we can put together a good show and entertain you guys tonight. We're going to have a full house of peoples. And it's going to be a blast. We're going to have fun hanging out. So you guys, this is going to be very interactive. So just start throwing stuff out there, and our expert panel will throw in their 2 cents, and we'll see if we can work the world's problems out tonight. Tonight, all the world's problems will be solved, especially since we have Mr. Mulrooney in that.
Hey, how you doing? What is this? You just went live without anybody.
Can you were in there? I saw you. We got a chat full already, man. We got Leg Kick, we got Roland, we got what is it? Kana Blend 36. We got Shadowhawk Backs. Sure does. And yeah, we got the Comic Relief Crusader, we got SDA. We got a full crowd here, man. We're gonna party, Todd. Todd, you look like you're doubting everything.
Say again.
It seems like you're doubting the power of the Pontificators.
No, I'm not doubting. I doubt nothing.
I doubt nothing. Hey, did you hear that Gilbert Gottfried passed?
Yeah, I drew a little duck head with a logo on top of it.
I feel like I'm kind of channeling Gilbert tonight, like, we're going to have a great show for you guys tonight. Like, he's always yelling. Like,
he's a little bit kinetic, though. He was very kinetic.
He's a smart guy, too. I think he did a lot of things behind the scenes, too. He wrote a lot of comedy and did a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. I think I see somebody in the backstage area. I believe his name is Pedro Eng. We got Pedro Eng, who is muted right now.
Hello. It's cicada season, so it can get really loud. So I'm gonna mute on and off eventually. But,
all right. How do you say cicada? Do you say cicada or cicadas or?
Oh no, we say cigarras in Spanish.
Yeah,
I like that. Flying cigars.
Yeah. No, you can't smoke them. Well, you can,
but that would be horrible.
Yeah.
Can you eat them?
No,
you can eat anything.
That's some leftist stuff. Like, yeah, they want you to do it, but nah.
Anything with butter and garlic. You know, you give it to an Italian, I bet you I can make it edible.
I don't know, man. I just came from the fish market today, so I don't need no cicadas, baby.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if you can make bottom feeders like shrimp taste good, then then anything's go, right? I try not to think about that shrimp are pretty much just bottom feeders of
they're bugs
of the sea.
Yeah, they're bugs of the sea, but
they just eat excrement and whatever's left over,
Oh, but they're delicious. Like they used to give lobster to prisoners.
Lobster's delicious.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be like, dude, that's a cockroach from the ocean. So they used to give that to prisoners, like in the 1800s, whatever. And it was supposed to. They stopped doing it because it was like cruel and unusual punishment to feed them lobster.
Really?
And yeah.
When did they figure out that this was a delicacy?
I have no idea. I just read that somewhere, and it stuck with me.
Well, a friend of mine he's a world traveler, and he does a lot of business in Taiwan and stuff. And he says that I think it is in Taiwan, like chicken breasts, like we covet that here in the States.
Yeah,
they like the like legs and wings and stuff like that, like all the veiny stuff and
the dark meat. They like the dark meat.
Yeah, they don't like the chicken breast. What's wrong with those people, Todd?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Todd, we see your cute dog.
Yeah, nice pupper.
Well, I can report now that my pupper is almost a year old, and he has gotten a lot better, man. This dog, I didn't think we were ever going to get through to Poochifer, which is what we nicknamed him. But Poochifer is coming around. Yeah.
Yeah, he matured fast. It's not a boxer. Boxers stay like that for 4 years now.
Do they really?
Mm-hmm.
They're
like eternal kids.
Well, let's invite Bob, comic book Bob, in.
What's up? Doesn't Bob wait? Doesn't Bob resemble Gargamel a little bit? You guys remember Gargamel?
From the Smurfs?
Yes. From the Smurfs?
Mm-hmm.
There's a little Gargamel going on there.
Yeah, I can see it.
Well, what do you have to say about that, Bob?
I already said it. I said, fuck you, man.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, we didn't hear you, man. You got to speak up.
What's up? It's been too long.
Oh, Bob, we're all channeling Gilbert Gottfried tonight, so you got to do your Gilbert Gottfried for us.
Oh.
The aristocrats. Or actually a little more like, the aristocrats.
Yeah.
His eyes are always squinted, and he's always screaming at the top of his lungs. Okay, I got something for you. Listen up.
Man, we're losing everybody, man. What the hell's going on?
Aren't we?
What do you mean we're losing everybody?
A lot of people are dying, man.
Oh. I thought you meant Chad. I was like, what are you talking about? So who else did we lose that was worthwhile?
We lost William Hurt. We lost Meatloaf. We lost
Meatloaf Hurt.
Yeah. Dude, there's a whole bunch of people.
Yeah. For the porn connoisseurs, Nina Hartley kicked the bucket too. Or at least I read that somewhere.
Nina.
What? Who? Nina Hartley?
Yeah, the porn. I read that somewhere. I don't know. I was not at the funeral.
Working right up to that day.
What was her name? The lady who was the mom on Seinfeld.
That lady also?
Yep. We lost Taylor Hawkins.
Yeah, Taylor Hawkins,
drummer for Foo Fighters.
Oh yeah, he died in Colombia.
Yep.
Hey, maybe you guys can settle this.
Scott Hall.
Okay. So Taylor, they're saying that it might not have just been drugs. It was like a complication from one of those the shots, the COVID shots. Did you guys hear anything about that?
I haven't heard anything about that.
I didn't. What I heard is that he tried to do the thing like it was American cut coke, and in Colombia you get it purer.
Yeah.
It's you have to respect that, dude.
Yeah. So he tried to mainline the source and he wasn't strong enough.
Yeah, dude, that's not the same. Like, let's do 3 lines. Like, no.
So you guys listen up, man. When Pedro says respect the coke in Colombia, respect the coke in Colombia.
Yeah, do it. Yeah. Not that I know anything directly. This is all like secondhand sources.
Yeah. I before we go any further, I wanted to read this. Okay, so I called this the Wing It stream. So why do we say wing it? Improvise. As in the interviewer had not read the author's book. Wait, is this the one I wanted to read? Interviewer had not read the author's book. He was just winging it. This expression comes from the theater, where it alludes to an actor studying his part in the wings, the area to either side of the stage, because he has been suddenly called upon to replace another. So that is wing it. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're all in the wings, and we're just going to
call, bang, fuck, I'm dead.
Bang, I'm fucking dead. Okay, what was that movie from Crow?
From the Crow.
From the Crow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Call, bang, fuck, I'm dead.
Fucking dead. Yeah.
That first Crow, the first Crow movie was really good.
Yeah, that was a great
soundtrack too.
Yeah.
You guys want to hear a theater story? I used to be in the theater.
Oh, man, I was
yes.
married to a theater major.
Todd's an actor.
Todd was tree number 3.
I did some teaching in New York, up in the Catskills, where they have all these old hotels that became camps. They used to be like the Browns, was where you could see Shecky Green or all these famous comedians. I'm Asian, right? So they're still there. All those hotels are still there, but they've turned them into camps. And I was doing this one camp with a guy who was the stage manager on Death of the Salesman, which was what's his name? Little short guy. I forget his name. And Rain Man.
Oh, Dustin Hoffman.
What's the Rain Man guy's name? Dustin Hoffman, right? And so during the whole production, he actually comes in like a week late, right? And he says, I just want a chair. And he sits in the middle, does none of his blocking, none of it. Every single day in the chair, doing all his lines from the chair. Never like Willie Lomax, right? Because that's the name of the character. Never does like how he's going to do it on the first day or even in dress rehearsal. He was just constantly in the chair. And then boom, opening night, all of a sudden, everyone's like, what the hell? You know, so everyone was kind of like in shock, like he's Willie Lomax. We haven't seen any of this yet. You know, we haven't seen him use his blocking or any of the movement or anything. All of a sudden, just on day one, he does the job. Had everybody so frantic that all this nervous energy came out with their parts and stuff. And then it was like one of the best nights you could see the show.
So he just literally did the winging.
He just acted.
He winged it. Yeah. That's good. Like I noticed like with even like drumming and like everything I have to do that's more of a like a in the moment performance. I can't overthink it. I just have to do it. You know what I mean? Like I can't, you know, like the rehearsing phase is done days and days before. But when it comes down to it, you just get in there and you just do it. But if I notice, like if I do a rehearsal just before, you know, we go live or whatever it is, then I'm always a little bit stiff. I'm a little bit in my head, you know, I'm always like that. So I do like to just wing it, just get out there and do stuff. So there is a certain truth to that, you know, like Dustin Hoffman, just that energy that you bring, you know, and then everybody else was on their toes because they didn't really know what to expect either, right? So everybody's probably a little sharper than they would be normally. And definitely they can't phone it in because they have no idea what Dustin Hoffman was going to do, right? That's pretty cool. Yeah. So one thing I did advertise is that we were going to do a Name That Tune with Pedro Ang. So I am. Oh shit! I was gonna say I was putting Pedro on the spot, but I'm not. Oh,
no, you're not. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Golden guitar. Hey,
yeah.
Hey, Pedro! I started following you on Facebook. I don't know, your name just came up, and so I went through your videos, and there's videos of you playing live and stuff. Like
yeah,
it's really good, man.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I did for a while. That was my escape from corporate life. So I was playing in 2 bands at that time, and then now I'm playing in 3. So I guess,
if I'm not mistaken, you had long hair, right? In one of the bands.
No, I've been a baldy since I'm 19, just because it's really comfortable.
Wait, but I thought there was one. Maybe it wasn't. It was one of the older ones, and oh my god, I don't think you guys were speaking English like you were.
No, we're not. It's all in Spanish. But I remember there's this gig for a Christmas. Like I dressed up as a shepherd, and the drummer was like a reindeer, and the singer was like baby Jesus. It was maybe that one. I had like a wig that day.
Yeah,
yes, I do.
If I'm not mistaken, it looked very grunge. It was just kind of straight down.
Yeah,
it was about like shoulder length. Yeah. I thought that was you. I mean, it might not have been. Hey, Todd's getting food, man. What is this?
Yeah. Oh,
he's gonna eat in front of us.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So you guys start following Pedro on Facebook so you can see those videos because it's really good. It's funny. Okay, so we lost Bob and Todd. speaking, so it looks like it's just going to be you and I, Pedro, and the chat.
And the chat. So should we play Name That Tune today? Like I had the songs ready.
Okay.
For way back then, but now I can't remember which songs were those. So
needed for Easter.
Well, the thing is, I'm going to explain to everybody how this works in case like just coming in. All right, so we're going to do Name That Tune with Pedro. So Pedro plays like a couple like bars of a guitar song, and usually these are rock songs or popular music.
Yeah.
And so oh, look at that.
Oh,
look at that.
Yeah. Jesus.
I'm so jealous. What's that? What is that like, man? I'm just kidding. And so then we give the chat the first crack at it. So the chat gets to try to guess what the song is first and foremost, and then the pontificators throw in to the mix. So do we have a topic for tonight, Pedro, or are you just going to be all over the place?
Oh, prog rock.
Okay, prog rock. All right. So prog rock is like Kansas, Dream Theater. Yes. Who else?
Yeah.
Moody Blues.
Yes, Moody Blues, Camel. I'm not gonna go like very obscure prog because that's like not that many people listen to those bands. That's more like I'm an architect and I listen to rock, so I'm trying to keep it like light.
Okay, would you say like Queensryche is prog, or where do they rank in there?
Some records of Queensryche like scratch prog, but not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we got our parameters now. So are you ready, Bob? Are you sitting down?
Yeah, I'm gonna suck at this. I always do it. Let's hear it.
Well,
I got one right last time.
Yeah, so without Clint Helinski, we're all gonna.
Yeah, no winger.
No winger. I know who it is. This is shit.
Okay. No clue. Not really. Nothing.
I know, but I'm going to let the chat.
Okay.
Somebody says Mississippi Queen.
Jeez.
Mississippi Queen.
That's a great song, though. That's a great song, though.
So I guess Pedro, they've renamed prog rock for you. It's frog
rock. Well, that's proper CG.
Fraggle rock.
Fraggle rock. Yeah.
All right. Give everybody one clue, Pedro.
Yeah, do it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, this record is from 1994, 95, I think. And these are the guys who put like prog rock and mixed with metal back in the.
Hold on, I gotta establish something because are you saying prog rock, like progressive rock, or are you saying prog
progressive
rock, like in the area of the UK, Prague or something?
No, not Prague.
Progressive rock.
Progressive rock.
Why did you say
also Todd, not frog rock.
Yeah,
not frog rock, not French rock.
No French rock.
No French rock.
Okay,
so Pedro, another clue. Did I already say the band name?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there's
you said Dream Theater. You said
he said Kansas.
Queensryche.
Kansas is not progressive.
Kansas.
Kansas is progressive rock.
Kansas is progressive rock.
The first couple albums were hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Come on, that shit is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know. I can't place it. I got the song in my head and I can't place it.
Okay, another thing is like the drummer of this band is freaking genius.
He's a beast.
His last name's Portnoy. He also played with Avenged Sevenfold briefly.
Oh shit.
Oh, Bobby. Is it Bobby?
Close. Mike Portnoy.
Yeah, it was, if we were talking Avenged Sevenfold, I would probably get it.
Now this is, you said 95, right, Pedro?
What's that? 95 around.
95. So this is like a more like modern prog. Like these guys kind of basically resurrected prog, I would say.
It's not radio. No, it's not radio. No.
Ooh, that's actually not a bad choice though.
Yeah.
All right.
Shit. Not
Pedro, you want me to say it, or are you going to say it?
Do it. Yeah.
All right. It is, Bob. You had it. You should have just said it out loud. It was Dream Theater. Ah, somebody got it.
There you go.
Somebody got it.
I said it. Just as I said it.
Yeah. Dream Theater. Yeah.
I wasn't the biggest. I didn't listen to a lot of Dream Theater.
That's all right.
I've heard that song before because I'm like, yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Okay, but I was like, shit.
It's a very famous riff.
Dude, I can't remember. I can't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Exactly.
Everybody's a critic.
Yeah. Dude, like I don't mind. I know I have, like, crappy Latin American equipment. Okay. I'm working on it, guys.
Shadow's like, oh, that explains it. 90s music mostly sucked.
Yeah.
Dude, most of the music in any generation sucked. It's just we remember the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I think every decade has really, really bad music, and then there's always just a handful of things that stand out. Mm-hmm. Like one thing, it's just like when I was young, I was so against just popular music. Because to me, all popular music sucked. Like in my day, it was like the Carpenters or like stuff like that. And now I think the Carpenters are freaking fantastic. But then I was like, oh, this is horrible. But that was kind of popular music. ABBA, was popular music. But even in the day, I didn't like them. And now I'm like, oh yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad stuff. All right. So, Fate's Warning. Look at this. Yeah.
Fate's Warning is better than Dream Theater. I can see it.
All right, Pedro, hit us with another one.
All right.
All right, Pedro, is this a band that there's only 3 members in?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a big clue.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the members just passed away.
Yeah, dude, and we got a winner right now.
Oh no, I thought it was Rush. That was King Crimson.
Was it?
21st Century Schizoid Man.
That was a deep cut. Whoa.
Yeah, dude.
Because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, that sounds like Rush.
It sounds like old, like from Caress of Steel or whatever that.
Yeah.
It sounds like something there.
21st Century Schizoid Man.
21st Century Schizoid Man.
Wow. Yeah, you went digging deep on that, man.
Oh man,
that's all right.
That's okay. No, it's cool. It's like
so hey Pedro, before you start, say the decade, okay? Because this is a big wide, kind of like topic.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So it might help narrow things down because these are really deep dives. Man.
Yeah. Okay. So this was 70. So this one, I think it's 1980. This song. And dude, this should be easy, but I don't know now.
Oh, okay. Well, I think Citizens is gonna just
Yeah.
take it all here tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was YYZ, right?
Yes. Oh, Shadowhawk Max. Yes. Hit us with the rush. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're good. We're good. I don't know.
Oh, there might be some competition. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So we got
Sweet.
Shadowhawk
Because
and
I ain't getting it.
my citizen running. Awesome. So I don't know. This next band. It's also from the late 70s, early 80s. I have two songs, but one of them is going to be really easy. The other one is kind of obscure.
Let's go with the easy.
Okay.
I already got it. Okay, if I could get it, everybody in the damn chat should get it. There you go.
Yeah, let's
Yep.
give the chat a moment, and then
Yeah.
Bob can take
Yeah,
it.
Citizen already got it.
Oh, there it is.
There it
Yeah.
is.
There you
You know
go.
what?
Hell
move,
yeah.
Move yourself.
Move yourself. You always think of life, never thinking of the future. Yeah, it's just, dude.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
Me neither.
No one does. I heard a documentary on Rush, and the band was talking about that. They were like, that guy, man, no one understands what the hell those words, any of those songs mean.
Dude, I don't know. I was listening to The Spirit of the Radio a couple of days back, and it's like an homage, and it's like he nerded out on radio. And dude, like, who makes a song like that? Like, it was uplifting or whatever, but I would never write a song like that. Yeah.
You know what? We have to. I invited Del Keown in for one of these. We got to get him in because
Oh, dude.
on Facebook he sends, like, we send back and forth like all these like deep dives, these different bands and stuff. And so now we're like experiencing old Judas Priest from like the late 70s and stuff like that.
Oh, dude.
The best Judas Priest.
That's the best Judas. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and then I just trumped everything with Painkiller.
Yeah, obviously.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I found a live cut of it, and that drummer pulls all that
dude.
shit off live, man. It's so good.
So what do you think is the best Judas Priest album?
Probably British Steel as far as like overall, but I do like what is it? Screaming for Vengeance.
Yeah, dude. Screaming for vengeance. Yeah. Yeah, dude. But I don't know, like the one I like to play the best for them is another thing coming.
Yeah, that's the only. I was in a cover band, and we used to do that song. Yeah, and you know where the drums kind of like the music stops, and then the drums go.
Yeah.
And I worked all the timing out, and that band I played with, they were like, because I came in later, they had already established, so I was replacing one of the drummers that they had, and they're like, "You're playing it wrong," and I'm like,
"Oh,
no, I'm not.
No, I'm not." Yeah.
And then they're like, "You're playing it wrong." So we actually sat down. I broke it all down to them, and they said, and this is what they said to me. They go, "That's not the way our old drummer used to play it." And I said, "So you want me to learn it wrong?" And they're like, "Yes." I go, "I can't do that.
I can't do that. I quit the band."
I did. I quit the band. They go, "You can't quit. We got a gig." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, man.
I'm sorry. You have loose morals, sir."
Yeah. All right, one more, and then we'll move on to what
we're
going to talk about, which I don't know what that's going to be.
I'm going to do another one that's easy. So let's say we do this.
And I wish we had an award because I think Citizen gets the award.
Shit.
I believe.
Yeah, the name of the song now.
Oh my god.
It's about a car,
Yes.
It's not
and there's a color involved.
Mm-hmm.
Red Barchetta?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Oh shit!
And Bob, take it.
I got one!
Takes it. And that concludes
Oh my
Getting
god!
That Tune with Pedro Wang. Thank God I was ready. Jesus.
All right. Well, thank
You
you.
know
so much.
the only reason I got that is because I just heard it.
Oh,
Like
nice.
literally like yesterday.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Because
and-
I'm sitting there going, this is really familiar.
And the guitar came back. This one, the one that was destroyed on that show.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, that's
finally
the
got it repaired.
the car that you broke the
Yeah, the tuning
Just
peg.
before we
tune
went
fork.
live.
Yeah. So yeah.
Pedro got so excited.
Woo!
He rushed the camera and fell and tripped.
Did Citizen
So happy.
Did Citizen and Shadowhawk get it before me?
No, they didn't.
No.
Okay, because they both said it.
Yeah, who knows? Because sometimes there's a delay, so you guys probably.
Yeah,
all
there's
know
a lot
at the
in the
same
chat.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thank you so much, Pedro. That's
Yeah.
a lot of fun, and
Yeah.
and so now I got to turn this over to Todd. Todd,
Yeah.
what do you want to talk about?
We can talk a little bit about the Frank Miller and Dan DiDio.
Oh, yeah. That's
I'm not
interesting.
sure exactly what they're gonna do, but I know what they probably won't do. I can pontificate on what they probably won't do.
Okay, well, why don't you give people a little bit of a backstory, and then
They made an announcement that they're gonna start like an upstart company, a new publisher. They didn't have a logo, which is kind of weird. They didn't have a name, I don't even think, right? Did they have a name?
I didn't see one.
So it's just news. It's just we're gonna do this and we're announcing it.
So if I type, what would I type in to see if we can find some information? So Dan DiDio,
why don't you just call him?
Frank Miller. Why don't
There
I
you
just
go.
call
You
him?
got his number. Come on, Art.
I have his number when he worked at DC. Here it is. Okay. All right. Well, let's do this. We'll give a backstory this way. I just found it. It came up easier than I thought.
There you go.
And then
Call him.
and then
Dude, if we called Dan DiDio and he answered, I would literally shit myself.
what? You're gonna shit your what?
Dude, if you
Yeah,
called
are
Dan
you willing to go on the
DiDio
record?
and he went
Yeah.
on and he actually answered the phone, I'd be like,
Yeah.
You know what? The thing is, Dan's a good guy. I think he would actually pick up. So both Dan DiDio and Frank Miller attended the Fan Expo Philadelphia last weekend, and they may have had much to discuss. The word in the bar was that Dan DiDio will be running Frank Miller's new publishing business going forward. What they will be, what projects it will concern itself with, we have no idea, which is pretty much what Todd said. But we have multiple confirmations from multiple sources. If nothing else, it will make meetings between Frank Miller and DC Comics rather interesting. What is Frank doing with DC Comics? He's not doing anything.
there
is
is
he?
something.
Wasn't he canceled
Oh, wait.
because of that comic he did years back?
"Oh,
About
Holy
the
Terror."
whole-
He had something
Yeah,
coming.
Holy Terror.
He had something coming out pretty soon.
But that was that Dark Horse? That wasn't DC, right?
No,
Yeah.
it was DC. He was doing something with somebody.
Well, let's keep reading. Okay, Frank Miller's comic book. Okay, we already know his backstory. DiDio worked animations. Okay, we know his
The reboot
backstory.
was horrible.
DC Comics. 5G Generation 5 aspects. Plans remain within the publishing current schedules since he was fired. Will be the publisher for Frank Miller's new publishing. So Dan DiDio is just going to be the publisher. It's just going to be called like DiDio Press or something. We'll be doing. He does like to have a lot of icons or irons in the fire at once. It doesn't really say much other than
It might not
talking
even amount to much.
Yeah, there's no name for a for
Because
the
every
company.
time I see Frank Miller, I think this guy looks like he's almost dead. you know, and that's
Yeah,
why
he looks like he has cancer or
He-
something, right?
You know what? I'll say this though. He actually looks better now than he did about 6 or 7 years ago. 6 or 7 years ago.
yeah.
Dude, 10 years ago, he looked like he was literally had his 1 foot in the grave.
He was all and he was all like
Yeah,
crooked.
he looked like he was like he looked like he was like
I
He
couldn't
looked like a
believe
question
some of the
mark.
artwork that was coming out of him. Like
Mm.
it was just weird. The whole thing was
yeah,
just weird.
it's Holy Terror 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Boogaloo, yeah.
Dude, he caught major hell for that book.
He
Yeah,
didn't
dude.
deserve that.
Mm.
Right.
No, because it wasn't. I mean, but this way, that book was weird because
Mhm.
it was meant to be a Batman book,
Yeah.
Oh.
and he had like, but then even for Frank, because Frank does weird stuff. Even for Frank, there was some weird stuff in that book, but it was nowhere near as bad as everyone said.
He might have been a little bit behind the whole curve of you know what we were going through as a country,
Yeah.
but still, he didn't deserve that. He was just
No.
you know he was writing what he felt and how he felt
Yeah.
about
It's a
terrorism.
story. In the end, it's a story. It doesn't even mean that he necessarily feels that way. It's just a
Yeah,
story.
exactly.
You know, a lot of people, well, more people need to be able to distinguish between the two, the artist versus, you know, what they're doing. It doesn't always coincide. But what is your speculation on this, Todd? I know you had a take on it.
My speculation, well, the only thing you could really say is it probably won't be superheroes. I think Frank
No.
has done his time in superheroes, but he does have a lot of friends, right? I mean, he has some really close friends that you know, whether they come and go out of comics, or like Mike Mignola, who writes again and was absent for a number of years and stuff. You know, maybe we might see something like that, or maybe you know, you bring Neil Gaiman back to comics. I don't know.
Holy shit, that'd be pretty cool.
Okay,
They
Roland
gotta do
Adams.
what they got to do is try to satiate the adults that are left in comics,
Yeah.
not try to satiate any new like you know this gravitate towards woke fans kind of thing. I don't think that is going to work for any of them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just want to speak to Roland about this. Like, drinking's one thing, but Frank had like he was a major coke
Yeah.
guy. Like, I remember doing a book signing. I'm not going to name any names or anything, but
Mhm.
I followed him. It was like a suite in a hotel, and we were doing signings of, you know, like books, and I was following Frank, and that room looked like, you know, a rock band. You know,
Oh, man.
you know, there was still residue and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, Frank liked to party like, you know,
Like it
a
was
rock star.
1999? Yeah.
Yeah, it's got like 7 hookers laying past it on the floor. It's like, get these out of here. They're wilted. Go get me some more.
Give me some more. Honey, give me a first batch.
Yeah.
Do it.
But,
I mean, I know we're throwing little, small little pop shots, but incredible career.
oh God.
You know,
course,
you-
yeah.
you-
At one of my like if you had to
Mount
ask me
Rushmore?
Mount Rushmore of writers, dude, he's on it for me.
I mean,
one
he's
of the
nothing
first
out.
guys to say, I'm going to take my career in my own hands.
Yep.
And I'll write my own stories.
Dude, Sin City was like a groundbreaking series when it first came out.
Oh, yeah.
I
And
mean,
he could have kept up with that as
Yeah.
long as his art was still in the same place for as long as he wanted to. You know, because it was just a city. It was a city of crime. And so he could have went anywhere he wanted to go and continued doing that for years and years and years.
oh yeah, he could have milked the hell out of it if he wanted to.
He didn't, you
No,
know.
he didn't know.
He could have, but he didn't.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool. You
Did-
know, that you realize there's a lot of good stuff there. If I leave it alone, it becomes its own thing.
Yeah.
Instead of I just keep adding to it.
So back in 2018, he did that 5-project deal with DC. I don't think he released 5 projects on that. So I think that's what they're talking about. He's still got stuff from that. Because wasn't one of the things? Did he ever release that he was going to do a novel about Carrie Kelly from Dark Knight Returns?
The Robin character.
Yeah, he was going to do like a UI, like a kind of. I guess he's like
I
his.
do remember that.
But
Yeah.
I don't think it ever came out. I don't think it ever materialized. So I think that's what
No.
they're talking about. Is he signed like a 5-project deal with them and then never did anything except for like I think he did one thing like that was connected to Dark Knight's Metal or something like that.
He's got something that's not even finished too.
Yeah, he's got a lot.
Yeah,
of
but
stuff.
that would have nothing to do with this. What they're talking about now? Or are you talking
No.
about that he has to finish up that obligation?
Well, I think he still has that obligation to DC.
I don't think so.
You think they
I
just
think
said,
they
"Screw
threw
it"?
it all out the window. Like, I mean, that was years ago. You know,
Okay,
that was the Jim Lee
Dark
Batman
Knight
project, right?
Roland just brought it up. He said Superman Year One, and then Dark Knight Master Race, like the Dark Knight 1 and Dark Knight 2. But didn't that was before 2018 though, wasn't it? Dark Knight, the Dark Knights 2, and then Dark Knight Master Race might have been part of that, but because I think he did his sequel to Dark Knight to the Dark Knight, and then he got that deal, and that's when the other stuff came out.
Well, I don't know, but the thing is, like, I don't think this would have anything to do with the Didito stuff.
No, but here's the question though: is he gonna keep Frank on task? Because Frank likes to kind of meander.
All right, I'm just going to completely make up something here because I have nothing to go on. But let's just speculate. That's what we do here.
Mhm.
All right, so what I think is probably going to happen, it'll be like Stanley Presents. Like, remember Stanley had a publishing company?
Yeah.
So it's basically just like you get a figurehead. And so then you have the figurehead, and then you sell, a publishing company. So I have a feeling that Frank might do one project or whatever just to kind of, throw some legitimacy to it. But I bet you they're going to try to woo like top name talents to this, let them create their own IPs, and then they'll unite it all with this publishing venture. And like one of you guys said, like they probably won't do superheroes, and I agree with you. I think they'll probably do just something more adult oriented.
Verotic.
Erotic.
I don't think it's gonna go quite that far, but
nothing like
the
that.
thing is, like, I don't know, like Frank Miller turning into a Stanley kind of figure, like I don't see Frank Miller as a friendly guy like that, like what
I don't think
Stan
he
did.
meant like figure as far as ambassador for comment.
Yeah, probably
He just
that.
meant like you prop somebody up, they're the name on the company.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of different things.
Unless they go like noir or something, like they go like
remember the
detective.
Technoverse? Remember the Technoverse?
Yep.
Well, it had like Neil Gaiman's whatever and so's whatever, and Jim Starlin's whatever.
Yeah.
They used the name recognition, even though none of those books. I think Neil Gaiman's was like dinosaurs or something, kind of weird thing. And it never went anywhere.
That was.
I think the brand would be what makes sense as far as Frank Miller is just that it would be like an adult brand. It'd be kind of like a Vertigo kind of edgy, rock and roll kind of brand that they would woo that type of talent to do it, and then they would just say, in lieu of deep pockets, you get to own your own IP. So they would probably pay something, because that's the next thing is like how would they generate money to pay for talent. And one of the ways you can attract talent is to say, we'll publish it, but you get to own your own IP. And then there's some kind of guarantee against royalties or back end or whatever, the deal that would be made. And I could see that attracting some talent and maybe kind of do like an Image Comics, but it would be more like Vertigo, like Vertigo, 2.0 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be very, very cool. Like that.
Yeah, I mean,
cool already.
You get the right people, it could be awesome. And like you said, using Frank as like the carrot, dangling out there. There's a lot, and because let's be honest, there's a lot of old school creators that DC and Marvel just don't want anymore. And I'm sure they've got stuff that they want to do.
Well, also let's not forget, like Dan DiDio he's a Hollywood guy. Like he worked in animation. I think it was Sony or one of these companies. I think he worked for MTV as well.
Yeah,
I knew him before DC, so I knew when he was doing animation, and so he's got a lot of connections there too. And so Frank Miller is still kind of a Hollywood darling. So, they might also be able to do like kind of a two-prong IP attack, right? So then they have the Hollywood stuff, and then they would have the publishing as well. I always thought, like, if you're going to launch a new like publishing venture right now, and you could get enough names, I'd go to William Morris, and I'd get representation right then, and I'd go, you're going to represent this whole publishing line, all these creatives and all these IPs, and then as soon as they start coming out, or even before they come out, you start shopping that around, start pitching it.
One thing that has happened in Hollywood, you've seen the slowing of the diversity. You've seen many of Marvel, many of DC, and you keep hearing about projects in the works, but you're not hearing them go after a new thing, which is what AWA thought they would be able to do. They thought their connections to Hollywood would allow for them, because we're going on the second generation of books there. Each creator is already on their second book. Even what's his name? The artist from who became popular during Wonder Woman. What was his name? With the 3 names? I forget his name.
Oh, Jose Luis Garcia?
No.
Not Sean Gordon Murphy.
No. This is the guy who became popular on Wonder Woman, then was all over the place, and they went to Marvel and stuff. I forget his name. The Archimedes era.
Ed Bent. No, not Ed Bent.
Not Ed Benes. He is Hispanic though.
Yeah,
but he's on his 3rd different book there. So each book has about six issues. Mm-hmm. So nothing's been picked up there. So it's really slowing down. Because there's plenty. Look, we've never seen a Goon movie, or
I remember they were going to make an animated movie. It never happened.
Dude, I saw shorts for the Goon movie. Like animated,
it looked good.
It looked awesome.
Yeah.
You know what? I bet you $10. A bunch of Hollywood types look at it's too dark and it's too
dark.
violent.
Even the mouse guard stuff that.
Oh my god!
It looked like it was going to be fantastic.
Yeah, so Disney. Disney killed it on purpose.
I think
that one broke my heart.
On you're not seeing the fringe stuff like MIB and I Am Legend and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate because that's what we really needed. We really needed something like a Cyber Frog movie, and then bam, you see all kinds of different eyes on the whole,
indie scene. Yeah, the indie scene just doesn't it doesn't pick every once in a while you'll see something like they said they were going to do a what was it? Shit, my brain doesn't want to work. A saga movie and all this stuff, and none of it came to fruition. It just fell away.
What happens is comparison happens when they go there and go, "Hey, we could do this," and they go, "Yeah, but that would just be like that. We've already done that." And now, so there's no rule. Like Marvel and DC's pushed out the fringe because if we did that, that'd be like we're trying to capitalize on that, and that's the way Hollywood thinks.
There's also this aspect. I remember talking to J. Scott Campbell about Danger Girl, and Danger Girl was optioned. It was optioned around the same time that they were trying to bring back Charlie's Angels. Yeah, Drew Barrymore's production company and all that other stuff. So what Hollywood does is they buy up the competition before it can even happen, and then they just bury it. Like these are people that have seriously too much money on their hands. So they'll option things and then they'll just bury it. So when their movie comes out, there's no competition for it.
And that's what happened with Todd brought up Mouse Guard. Mouse Guard was already in production. They were like $20 million in. And when DC bought 20th Century Fox, they had a movie. I can't remember what it was. I think
when Disney
bought 20th Century Fox, they killed it because they said it had too much similarity to a project they were already working on. Never even bothering to check it out that how freaking crazy popular that freaking property is. That movie and like Todd said, the concept art that they had, the little animation bits that they had that they had worked on, the models that they were doing, that movie was gonna be friggin' dope. I love Mouse Guard. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of things that we'll never see. Like a friend of mine, he's a storyboard artist, just posted that there's a Brad Bird animatics, like a trailer for The Spirit.
Yep.
I remember them talking about that.
It's fantastic, and it feels like it's like a couple minutes long, and it pretty much gives like the whole, like in little sound bites, the origin of the spirit. And there's a voice actor, and there's everything to it. And you can tell it's Brad Bird. It's kind of pseudo Disney. It's like Hanna-Barbera meets Disney or something like that. And it's really, really good. The woman in that thing is sexier than all get out.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it.
Actually,
you guys keep talking.
Yeah. When Marvel, when you bring that up, when Marvel was selling off all the rights to their characters to movie studios, something like 40 of them got picked up by Pixar because they were going to do like Pixar style movies with them.
Yeah.
And then what happened is that kind of stuff got put on the back burner, and then Iron Man happened, and then they're like, oh, well, we'll just do regular movies with it instead. Yeah. But like, there's like you mentioned like a Power Pack movie done by freaking Pixar.
Dude, Brad Bird was he's a huge comic book fan.
Yeah.
When he did The Incredibles, like he was actually trying to make a Marvel movie. It's a straight up superhero movie, like getting all the tropes and whatnot. But yeah, like that fell through, So then they went to let's make like our own universe. But it's The Incredibles is a freaking comic book universe.
Yeah,
like, hands down.
But they could have done like you think about the licenses that they had. I think some of the stuff they have from Marvel. Moon Knight was one of the things that they had. They had a bunch of stuff, but Power Pack was one of them. I said, oh my god, dude, Brad Bird could do an amazing Power Pack movie. Yeah, or like Slapstick. Remember that guy from the 90s? You could do like a movie about that character. There's a lot of Marvel properties you could do, like New Mutants. You could do a New Mutants.
Yeah.
I swear to God, Disney Plus needs a Saturday morning
cartoon lineup. Yes, dude.
Because even like that's where you do the New Warriors or something that you couldn't do in the movies, but you could do in cartoon.
And not only that, but you could take some of those licenses like that, and you could build them up to the point where maybe you could do a movie about them later.
And maybe comics are in the back fold of that as far as like, hey, it became so popular by cartoon, we can actually do a limited series or so with these.
Yeah, just keep Kibble Smith away from it.
Oh, yeah, sure, please.
But please. I Saturday mornings were like, oh my God, it was almost like Christmas every morning.
It was, dude.
I couldn't wait to get up to watch some of the goofy.
I would wake up. Tell me any other time you could get a kid to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning.
I know,
and just run, just because like you had to get the TV first to watch because they had like each channel had like their own block of cartoons, and whoever got the TV first, they got to watch their thing first.
Okay, you guys, I found it.
Let's see it.
Let's play it here. You guys are gonna get a treat. This is really, really cool. Okay. So I don't know about the audio, but we'll do the best we can.
Oh, look at those VHS lines.
Detected.
Whoa, yeah, my computer's being really slow.
It's really lagging, yeah.
Yeah, it's lagging bad.
19 previously unsolved cases, which eventually led to the arrest and conviction of 37 of the most wanted criminals in Central City.
Nice.
He is the city's single most wanted crime fighter. Needless to say, a lot of people wanted him dead.
Oh my God.
Dude, this is like old school 70s friggin' animation. Look at the way the buildings are leaning in.
Yeah. It's like the warp perspective.
Well, it's just like Will Eisner's comp.
Yeah.
Dude, and the rendering, man, this is insane.
Danny Cope murdered.
Dude, this is key animation, man. This is not.
Yeah, I know.
Like
this is
animatic.
like, I'm getting such old school like.
Well, this
animation.
This is before like Iron Giant and stuff. I mean, this.
Yeah.
This is like an animation test phase. It's missing in between here and there, but yeah, the acting is there, man. Look at that. Whoa.
Look at the face and like just like the face animation on that character was awesome.
Yeah.
I like the storytelling too. I mean, they're getting it all in there.
Yeah.
You know, he's a detective that kind of died, but you know, is letting everybody. He comes back, but he's letting everybody think he's dead.
Look at that shot. Flunk.
Oh, no restrictions.
We lost thought.
I'm a private detective.
How private?
Oh my gosh, it's so awesome. How private.
God, this is like.
What you gonna call yourself? You gotta have a name.
I hadn't thought about that. I guess Superman's taking it.
That's awesome. This is like Walt Fleischer on steroids.
Yeah, dude, my room smells like paper now. I'm loving this.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
And they friggin' tabled this.
Yeah.
Are you friggin' high?
There is no sense in the world anymore.
Good Lord, dude. One of these days, we got to get John Celestri on here.
Oh yeah, dude, that
And,
guy.
like show him that
Follow
animatic, man. He'll be drooling.
Yeah, dude.
Well, that and my friend Paul Power, who's the one who posted that, sent that to me. That guy knows all this stuff. He knows all those guys. And just to show you how cool Paul is, he's good friends with Cheech and Chong, both of those guys.
Oh, nice.
He hangs out with those guys socially.
Dude, Tommy Chong is like a much deeper guy than people give him credit for, man.
Yeah. So he's really cool. Paul has all these great stories, you know, and stuff like that. So it would be great to get him on. He and I are friends, but I just don't know how much, because he's a Hollywood guy. I just don't know how much he knows about my connection with comics.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm hoping that doesn't have anything to do with anything, because as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't. But people get hung up on that crap. But it would be great to get him on the show. And also, Mark Pasella is one of those guys. Like, he's a storyboard artist as well. And it'd be great to get him, you know, on it. Just they have great stories. These guys are like, I know you've met people like this. It's usually more of an old school thing. Just great storytellers, right?
Yeah.
They can just talk about things that have happened at a con or just anything, and it's riveting. And both those guys are like that. So I like.
Dude, I would kill. Like, I miss the days when we used to do those kind of streams where we just bring on somebody that just has all this history and just let them talk about it, because you know they've got 1,000,000,001 just badass stories that they can just come out with, and it just that's what all this stuff used to be about, man.
I would like to speak with Dale Keown, because I found him early on. Like, I collected Aircell. You know,
wow.
I had a lot of that stuff because I was into. I don't know why, but Aircell was really cool. Like, they had like an Elf Lord, which was almost like ElfQuest, and Samurai, and Dragon Force and Dragon Ring, and all these books that he worked on. Like, they eventually said, "Hey, do whatever you want with Dragon Ring."
Nice.
So he finished up Dragon Ring and then created Dragon Force.
Yeah, I got an intimate around Dragon Force because I think I have a couple of issues of that, and then later when he did his Hulk run, holy crap, man! Like, his Hulk run was like,
he did something once that I never saw any other artist do, and he did the thing with the glasses. Like, someone was wearing glasses, so their face was a different size in the lens than it was. You know what I mean? And he did that, and I said, like, "Oh my god, I've never even seen John Byrne do that." And then eventually I saw John Byrne do that with the Doom Patrol guy, but he did something that I had never seen before, and I was like, "Wow, that's so cool."
Yeah,
and there's some pencilers like Keown that pencil so amazing you just don't want to ink it. It almost seems pointless. You know what I mean? Like, you can't plus this. You can't make it any better than it already is.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first got like Will's Portatio pencils, I felt like that because Will's kind of, he didn't draw necessarily the way you would ink it. He used side of the pencil. There was like a lot of like old Neil Adams and stuff like that, where you just really don't, it's open to interpretation, but it looks great just as a pencil drawing. You know what I mean? Like, to the point where you don't really want to put ink on it because you don't realize, or you don't think it can be plussed. You don't think you can make it any better. And I always, like, when I see Del Keown's pencils, even today, I think, don't ink them.
Like, I'm going to say something kind of controversial about Dale.
Do it.
I actually I think his stuff that he did in his pit days, I think that's better than what he's, because that's even better than what he's doing now. The reason why I say that is that it just had more of that visceral feel to it. Like, his stuff today is so freaking polished. It's like, it's bonkers how crazy detailed and how amazing it looks. But I feel like he lost just a little bit of that energy, that visceral energy that he put into Pit. You know what I mean? Like that first issue of Pit that he put out, man, I was like, holy crap. That fight scene on the subway and in the alley with the bike gang, and that 2-page spread. Who does a 2-page spread of your character from the back and make him look so badass and powerful?
Well, the thing is, like, that was his baby too. I mean, when there's real passion, you get to see, you know, the artist step up. And so, you know, a lot of stuff that he's doing right now is commission work.
Yeah,
Which, you know, there's good. You bring what you can, but you know, when it's your own baby, man, watch out.
Yeah. But like,
a whole new ball of wax.
He is yet to drop it again. And I have a clean set of pants right next to the one I'm wearing.
For what he does.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, it's like
he broke one of Neil Adams' rules. Neil told him not never draw the face straight on.
Yeah,
he crushes.
Like, screw you.
Absolutely,
yeah, dude.
crushes.
But like, it's like, you look, like, pull this picture up. Like, this is like a Fantastic Four cover he did about 3 or 4 years ago. Okay, look how freaking just insane that is. But, and like I said, like, this is like, I'm never going to be on this level. There ain't a lot of people that are going to be on this level. But then you look at, like, compared to that 2-page spread from that first issue of Pit, and it's like, I just like, and maybe that's deliberate because there's so much visceral energy in that work that he did.
Well, you can't compare a commission to that. Like, this is a commission, isn't it?
It may be, but I think he freaking knocked it out of the park with this.
I mean, yeah,
you know what I think this is? No, I think this is something he did, and then they
turned it into a cover.
Yeah, they went to the owner of it and asked if they could make
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because this is what I'm talking about. Like, there's all these gray tones, and it's like, don't put any ink on it, man. It's just amazing. Yeah.
But then there's like,
like, what would you do there? Like, just like hold the quill and stare at it.
Yeah, pretty much that'd be about it. But then, like, let's see here. Let me find that. I'm trying to pull up a picture of Pit to compare it to. But here it is. Here it is. This is the one I'm talking about. Okay,
this is what I'm talking about.
Like right here. Hang on. Let me share this.
I gotta turn the air.
How freaking dope is this, man?
What?
Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude, when I picked that book up and I turned to that page, and it's like just friggin' just bestial power, man.
See these type of lines, right? These type of lines that you're seeing, where they sort of arc and bend and stuff to show the roundness of the muscle. A lot of people can do it, but a lot of people that try it can't. Right, because you got to know which way to go, because what you're doing is bending light and form and shape to control like how round something is and how much it bulges out and stuff like that. And people try it all the time, and you know, they fail. Rob Willis is really good at it, by the way.
Yeah, dude, and let's all give Dale props for putting crazy veins on your friggin' figures. popular.
Yeah.
But before that, man, there weren't a lot of people that was doing it, and then he did this, and everyone was like, "Holy crap, that's awesome!"
Yes, veins.
Yeah.
Vascular as hell.
And then Greg Capullo, it's like
Yep.
veins everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Greg, like especially around the neck, is just like.
Veins on veins. Yep.
Yeah.
But
Let's talk a little bit about. I want to get you guys feedback on. Let me find it here, and I posted this in the Pontificators green room, and it's about this Hollywood American Chavez co-creator. Get out of here. Declines Marvel's insult of an offer for Doctor Strange 2. So this is Joe Casey. Joe Casey is a good guy. And speaking of animation, his wife is Megan Casey. Though she used to work at Kids WB. That's when, well, I knew her then, and I knew her when she went over to Nickelodeon. Good people, and so Joe says, who says he was offended? A pittance ahead of his character's big screen debut is speaking out in hopes it could help other creators. There are still systematic flaws in the way that creators are neither respected nor rewarded. And so apparently what it looks like is a lot of these Marvel deals with creators are like kind of buyouts, right? They just kind of give them some money. They kind of woo them with red carpet treatments, and then pretty much just dispense of them. And so that's what Joe Casey's talking about here, where he got an offer from Marvel and for his creation of America Chavez, and he just kind of balked at it. So let me see if this is the paragraph. For comic book writer Joe Casey, seeing Chavez soar to new heights is bittersweet. Casey is proud of his work on America Chavez and what she represents. Yet, like many comic book writers before him, Casey feels a tinge of regret watching his creation take off without him being meaningfully compensated for it. Casey has not received payment for America Chavez outside of the page rates he got when working for Marvel as a writer. When he and artist Nick, is it Dragata? Introduced the character in 2011. Casey rejected what he describes as pittance. Thank you. Of an offer ahead of her Multiverse of Madness appearance. So this is really it kind of gets into Comicsgate and what we're doing here as well, where these kind of deals are more of their acknowledgments, but I think they more try to appease like Marvel's and Disney's conscience more than actually trying to make an equitable deal for the creators. So I remember talking to Bob Layton at a convention, and he was talking about because he did the Iron Man Demon in a Bottle story. There was some Ant-Man stuff that he created as well that they used in one of the films and things like that. And so he was talking that they gave him like a couple grand or something like that, and that he got to attend all these red carpet kind of events, for Marvel and all this stuff. And so I said, that's all? And he was like, yeah, it was a good time, hanging out on the red carpet and being a big shot and, rubbing elbows and stuff like that. And I'm like, but in comparison, they made millions, potentially billions of dollars, off of, what you created, and what you're describing is all tax deductible for them. It doesn't even mean anything. It's an empty gesture. And he goes, well, I'm old. What am I going to do? Try to sue these guys and hold out, in court and all this other stuff. And I just keep thinking, until somebody does, nothing's going to change. You know what I mean? Until, go ahead, Todd.
It doesn't even seem like they have a formula or a system for this. It's just,
No,
here we're going to give this to you, and here's yours. And it's not like wait a minute, you're using a full character that I'm the only creator of, and none of there's no, you know what I mean? There has to be, you have to put something, because DC does have something in sort of writing.
Yeah, but
to
I
do
think naturally there's a consequence to this, because I think Shane Davis was saying like no artist working for Marvel or DC is giving them good new ideas.
Nope.
Because why would they?
Yeah.
If this is the freedom they're gonna get. Then can you make a character? Yeah, here's toilet paper, man. Take it. Because they're not gonna spend like their brain power in creating great IPs if this is how they're gonna get treated. So I don't know.
The thing is, it's not only like what Todd was saying, where there has to be some kind of parameters with actually creation of these things.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Hamlet calls it the zoomies. He gets these like zoomies every once in a while. He goes crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, have you seen that? If you see that video of that dog that literally just starts spinning its way through the house?
That's what he does.
Just like a friggin' helicopter, man.
Yeah. So the thing is, like if there could be in writing, as far as the creative parameters, like you wrote and drew, or you wrote this thing and then it had its own title, or whatever the parameters are. For one, that should be established, but also it should be established what kind of payment or what kind of deal goes beyond the comic book, right? Mm-hmm. So like as far as if it's used for film, these other things. The reason they don't is because, like, I remember Jim Starlin, he held out. I think he did get an attorney with Thanos and all that other stuff, because Marvel was playing the shenanigans with him. So they're going to treat everybody differently, and they're going to treat everybody based on what they can pacify them with. You know what I mean? Like Bob Layton accepted this, so then fine, but Jim Starlin didn't. And so on and so forth. So there really are no hard and fast rules. So as a creator, you don't really know what your rights are or what you cannot do. And I think that becomes part of the problem. And then, like, after the fact, like the Joe Casey thing is,
that's the most popular thing you're gonna have in your show, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right. But then someone like Roland's bringing up like Starlin said he got more royalties from Warlords than anything related to Thanos from the MCU. Brew Baker said he got his cameos from the Winter Soldier generate more royalties. I think it's depending on who the creator is.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like there's different deals for everybody.
Well, I think it's also what they can get away with. It's like what Marvel or what Disney or Warner Brothers or whoever it is feels like they can get away with. So it's basically just hush money. That's all it is to try to get the creator to kind of sign off on whatever it is. So that I can't concentrate. This cracks me up.
I like the word pacify, because that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
They know they're in the wrong.
Yeah,
these guys should get together, right? I mean, like a Joe Casey, Mark Millar. These guys should just kind of get together and say, "Listen, we either need to come up with something, or we're gonna band together and sue you."
But I mean, as far as I know, like, it's not part of the culture, because artists and writers don't like share.
They don't want to rock the boat.
Yeah. They don't even share their rates. Like, there's no camaraderie, like, for real.
Yeah,
it's all cutthroat. So, yep.
Yeah, it's all, and I think it's one of those things that companies like entertainment companies, especially like Marvel and DC, stuff like that, they're really good at putting this idea, like, don't ever let the people who work for you realize how important they are to your business.
Yeah.
Because it lets you keep a level of control over them.
Well,
once that changes,
that was Marvel and Image. That was why Image was that was the impetus to that whole thing, is that Marvel really wouldn't acknowledge that mostly those guys were bringing in the eyes and the success that was happening. It wasn't just Spider-Man and the X-Men. You know what I mean? It was the combination of those things, but they never wanted to acknowledge that. And it's like you said, Bob, by admitting that, then they have to start treating the talent in a different way. If they acknowledge that as a creative not as a creative, but as a corporation, then they have to treat the creative people differently, and they don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
And so also the reason they don't want to be upfront with contracts and things like that is they don't really want to be accountable, because they know that there are people that they could buy off with next to nothing. If they can attend a red carpet, a premiere, sometimes that's enough. Like that, those guys can go, hey, I created this. They might get an interview, on the red carpet, get to talk about it a little bit. People acknowledge it. They get a big screen, mention, and then that's it. But for me, it's like part of it is like ego, like, oh man, isn't this good? Isn't this cool? They acknowledged me in the credits, or I got to go to the red carpet. But in the meantime, you didn't get any monetary compensation.
Yeah.
Those are just like somebody saying thank you, but not really acknowledging in anything in any real way.
Yeah.
That has any real impact. Like, as far as I'm concerned, Bob Layton's life should be completely different than it is now with the money that they should have paid him. You know what I mean? Like, the guy should be a multimillionaire for just, his Ant-Man contribution and Iron Man contributions alone, but it just doesn't happen that way. I remember Lin Wein, he was mostly talking about the difference between Marvel and DC. And he told me, he said that he made more off of, what's the character's name in Batman that helps Batman, and they used him in the movies, in the Christopher Nolan films. He was the guy.
Morgan Freeman.
Lucius Fox.
Lucius Fox. Yeah, he said he made more off of Lucius Fox than he did any of the X-Men characters that he created. And just to let everybody know the creations, one of them is Wolverine, Storm, like all the new X-Men characters, Colossus. These were Lin Wein and Dave Cockrum creations, and that's criminal, right? Like, we look at that and just think,
how much money have they made off of the freaking that version of the X-Men?
Yeah, just in the comics alone.
Yeah, then you think about everything else, like toys and T-shirts and movies and TV shows, video games, and it's like, holy crap.
And the sad thing is, at least, Lin lived long enough to get some of that, but Dave Cockrum didn't. He came up with the visuals for all those characters, and Storm, all those characters, nothing. And I don't know, have you guys ever seen this? Dave Cockrum's pitch for the Legion of Superheroes before he went over to Marvel?
No.
All those characters are derivatives of characters that he was.
Oh, that's right. Like, he showed the different costumes, and like, was it what's her name? The one character from Storm's costume was supposed to be for Night Girl or Shadow Lass or whatever her name was. It was supposed to be for her, and he just basically took those costume designs and then shunted them over there.
Yeah, there was all kinds of, like, then he did weird combinations of some of the character design elements and stuff like that, and basically those became the new X-Men characters. And I always just think, like, wow, like, I wonder if DC is just like, man, we should have moved forward on that. We had Dave Cockrum,
Who was it that said, which Image guy said, we were just like 5 guys away from crushing Marvel? Like, they said, if we had taken the Kuberts and Quesada and this, we would have crushed them. They wouldn't even have been able to sustain a lot of their books without, if we had taken those guys too.
Right.
I forget who said that.
I forget, but it's fact. You know what I mean? Like, they could have, and DC or Marvel instantly gave those guys crazy contracts, like Joe Mad and the Kubert brothers and all that stuff. So it's pretty interesting. They knew it was true, or otherwise they wouldn't have pumped up the dough, because if they would have lost those guys, like you said, Todd,
is it game over?
Yeah, game over.
X-Men's sales would have tanked without them.
Oh God.
Yeah. The Kubert brothers alone, and Joe Mad, kept that company afloat for, the at least 10 years.
Yeah.
After that. Yeah. And at least those guys got to benefit from the Image move. You know what I mean? Like, they would have got that money if it wasn't for, Marvel running scared. And that's the thing about life. And it took me a long time to realize it. Like, people don't just respect people just to do it. They have to.
How would you like to get that
to be
money
respected?
then be told, well, now we can't even give you close to that? That's gotta hurt.
Oh, you mean if you came back now to
Like
work?
no, like Kubert's back, right? He's back, John Wolverine, whatever. But he can't be making what he made 10 years ago because they can't give it to him.
Right. But for somebody like him, he knows that he's got some kind of security, which an older, artist that might not have aspirations of doing stuff like we do, where we do create our own, type of IP ideas. He might be just like, well, this is the place I retire. Marvel's giving me a pretty good, amount of money. I have security, it's easy work, or it's work that I'm familiar with, and I don't really have to break a sweat doing it. So, I mean, like somebody like that, maybe Mark Bagley, these guys, I got a feeling they're going to just be corporate guys until they can't pencil anymore, So
Yeah.
They must be getting something, otherwise they wouldn't still be there. But I don't know what's stopping people like us from just going, hey, Adam Kubert, you want to pencil my book?
At some point, that's going to be possible, man. The rates are getting lower and lower and lower.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
And that's and the fact that the rates are like we said, the rates are getting lower and lower and lower, and they're not paying. That's the reason why they're not getting their best work these days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's no reason for them to give them their best stuff because they can make more if they go and they self-publish on like Substack or someplace else.
Yeah.
Has Substack worked out for anybody though?
I don't know. Has anything even come out yet?
The ones in contract. Yeah,
the ones under contract, worked out great for them.
Yeah.
But do they have stuff out yet? Do they have stuff out yet? I haven't even seen.
I
think some of them have released some stuff, but it's on
Digital.
Substack. So if you don't know anything about Substack, I haven't looked at it.
They have released digitally, as far as I know.
Yeah,
kind of a place where bloggers went to blog.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but
Brubaker's
Brubaker's in an interesting situation where he it's a derivative character. So it's not like he created it from scratch.
Right. It's an evolved character. Started out as this and became that, and then became that.
Here's one of the
Bucky
designs.
and Nomad, right?
Yeah. Here's one of the designs we're talking about from Cockrum. That's Storm's outfit.
Right.
Without the
the horns.
And the thing is, I always thought it was weird that Storm had cat eyes. Remember, when drew her
in the original,
eyes. It's like, why does she have those eyes? And then you look at this, you go, there you go, right?
I thought she was a Vulcan.
Yeah, Storm always scared me for some reason. I don't know.
Who did? Storm?
Storm, yeah.
You just don't like powerful women. And then he had another one that was like a version of Jean Grey.
It's all there, like the DNA for the new X-Men, all there, But yeah, like the thing is, I don't think, it's like I was trying to say about respect. All your life you kind of think that, well, respect is earned or whatever and all that stuff, but you kind of in a more direct way, you have to have something that somebody's willing to deal with you on the level you want them to deal with you on. Like, it's almost like you have to have dirt on somebody to get them to respect you. Like, you have to have the upper hand in a negotiation, right? You can't somebody's not just going to respect you because it's the right thing to do. You have to not that you have to earn it, because you're talented, you've already done that, but you have to have something they want. You have to have something that is negotiable. Otherwise, they're not going to respect you. And even when you do, like with Marvel and the Image guys, they'll still call your bluff, right?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't think that those guys could do anything. They thought, well, without the X-Men, without Spider-Man, you guys aren't shit, right? And so then the experiment goes, Image Comics is created, and Marvel is proven wrong. Without a shadow of a doubt, they're proven wrong. Forbes magazine wrote articles like Wall Street Journal, like all these money magazines and newspapers wrote articles about the Image founders, and them leaving Marvel. I mean, this affected stock. Like, this was a big deal financially, and so they forced them to respect, the whole industry to respect those guys, because it wasn't just bullshit. Like, they proved it. And so that's the thing about a lot of this stuff, is that for these for creators to be treated seriously, they're going to have to be more upfront, and they're going to have to, especially when they have negotiation clout, they're going to have to try to change things. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen. Like I used to say this about like Image Comics in the day. I was like, no, that was something else. I remember talking to those guys and saying, all right, Image is making millions of dollars every month. How are we advertising? How are we growing the market? We don't need to. The stuff's selling itself. Well, with all this money, couldn't you start thinking beyond this? Couldn't
you hire a writer or two?
Well, beyond that, like, couldn't you get PR guys? Couldn't you get a marketing guy? Couldn't you try to get Image Comics into different venues? Couldn't you, try to build an industry or make the industry bigger or more diversified
and not look so splintered? I think that really,
Well, that was years later, of course, but I mean, it imploded because everybody, just like everybody else in this industry, it's all about what they can get at the moment, but nobody's long term. Nobody thinks about how this is going to affect down the line. Just like a few years back when I was still working freelance, I would talk to other people at conventions. Anybody who would listen, I would say, if you're a young guy and you want to break into the industry, don't use this. I'll work cheaper than anybody else. Don't undercut anybody in the industry. Never use that as a negotiation, and never accept it. Find out what your market value is. Find out what people are making. And when you go in, know your worth and negotiate that. Because if you are good and they want you, they will give you that money. They might give you something in the middle, but at least you're not going in the lowest bidder, right? Because when you come in and you negotiate like that, if you negotiate at all, which most of these guys don't, is you're not only undercutting that guy for the work, right? So there's an established guy, he's working for $40 more a page than you are. So you go in there and you take his job, right? Because you're working cheaper, right? Well, that guy put in 10 years. Where do you think you're going to be in 10 years? You're going to be that guy. And then the next guy is going to come in and he's going to undercut everything that you built for that decade. And he's going to take it away from you in a heartbeat. That's got to stop, because that's why the industry never grows. Things never get better, is because for any forward growth, it always gets rocked back. It always gets knocked back, to where it was 10 years ago. And there's no growth. And I've said this before on Pontificators. I've said, because the industry says, like, these publishers say, well, we don't have the money. We don't have the money to do that, right? We'd go out of business. And then say, no, you're going to have to sell more books to afford a decent rate for your artist to work for. It actually should inspire you to be a better businessman. You know what I mean? You can afford these guys, but they don't think like that.
Well, and that actually, that's got me wondering something. So, in the past, the whole idea was, don't let your talent know how important they are to your business. That way, you can maintain control. Today, it almost seems like, especially with this ultra progressive thing that they're trying to do, they're basically just showering them with platitudes, and that almost in a way to try to keep them working for them for pennies on the dollar, So it's almost like they took that psychology of the past of don't let them know how important they are to your business, and now they're telling them that they're you're absolutely crucial to our business, and they're keeping them in that same, but they're using that to keep them in that same spot.
Well, that's the modern way of doing business. I mean, my daughter worked at Starbucks, and they refer to people as family. Like the Disney Corporation refers to people as family. Like this is bullshit. Like this is crossing the line between like being a professional and not. Like no, I work for you as a freelancer. I do this job. You pay me, and that's it. So when you start blurring the line, then people start thinking about you more as like, oh, well, you're our friend. You wouldn't screw us. You're looking out for us. You're family. You're this, you're that, the other thing. But the thing is, yeah, they'll fuck you over in a heartbeat. You know what I mean?
And the thing is, like, the proof is like you can't fire family. I've tried. Just can't do it.
95% of the artists at Marvel DC are non-domestic artists. 95%.
What you're
from Pedro? No, I'm not meaning anything by that. I'm just saying.
Oh, I know.
I know.
You know what I mean? It's non-domestic.
Todd, I hate them too. Don't worry.
Pedro even hates himself.
But it's just weird because it's almost like they realized that the old thing wasn't working, so they switched it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I have a joke about like friends and our family and business. Like the worst, never get in business with friends or family. Yeah. They will screw you over in a heartbeat. So the whole friends and family thing is like, don't do it. Yeah, it's not a good thing. Man. But what were you saying, Bob?
No, I just found that it was kind of interesting as we were talking about. I was like, you look at like today, because like I guess somebody forwarded it to me because I don't follow them, but Mags put out this tweet saying she's like, I miss my Twitter clout because nobody friggin' responds to her to her crap anymore, and it's like, well, that's what happens. Like they use you for that's called virtue signaling. Mm-hmm. That's what they use you for, and then when they're done with you, they're done with you.
Enjoy your straw career now.
Bye. Yeah, enjoy your straw career. Exactly. It's interesting to see how like the people that are in charge, they realize that the old way wasn't working anymore because of what happened with Image. So like, well, we got to go in the other direction now, and we got to make them like, you are integral to everything that we do. You are so good. You are so great. Here's an Eisner Award. Here's this. Here's that.
Well, that's what you say in lieu of money. Like
in lieu of money. We're not going to pay you anymore.
Right. The theme of what we're saying is like like bullshit. Like just saying something doesn't mean anything. But when you compensate somebody financially, that speaks volumes. So it's like, oh, well, we'll have you attend this red carpet or what event or whatever it is. It's like you're flattered, and then that's enough. But really what they should do, if they really respected you, is they would give you all that, but then they would give you a decent amount of money for your contribution. Yeah. Because the thing is, we're all businessmen, and so we do things for payment. That's what we work for. So we don't work for like, hey, you're our family or you're friends or kind words. Fuck that. I gotta make ends meet. I have to live. I have to survive. And how I do that is with money. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't give a shit who's listening. Everybody that's ever picked up a pencil, wrote a comic book page, inked, colored, lettered, whatever in a comic book, we should all be multi-millionaires with the amount of work and the amount of dedication that we've all put into these books. I have almost 40 years logged in. Screw that, right? Like we should all be doing much, much better than we are. I mean, when you have somebody like we said, Dave Cochran, or even like, Siegel and Schuster or Jack Kirby and these guys, just in their later years, just treated so poorly.
Yeah,
you're right. Because we shouldn't let what happened the Simons and Schusters and those guys. We shouldn't let that shit happen to guys like Jim Starlin and these legends. Bob Layton, he can still draw Iron Man better than anyone.
Yeah, his have you seen his posts, his Twitter and Facebook?
Oh
I love
God,
it. Yeah. His Instagram. Yeah, it's great stuff, man.
So we shouldn't let these guys feel like they should belong. Is what they should feel like. We belong, and it's kind of like baseball. You're standing on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah,
and you're executing the things that they did.
But I've noticed that young
it's repetitive
artists,
business. Yeah. It's the whole thing with the pose about a month ago, where she copied a pose and this and that. She may not even have copied the pose, but the pose is something you've seen 1,000 times. But they just sort of like closed in on this little thing and said, "Oh, that looks just like his version of it." Pepe Larraz, and maybe it is, maybe it wasn't, but you're gonna see that pose 100 more times.
Yeah.
I don't get why they make a big deal about it. Maybe she needed to take a shortcut and get something done because she's on a regular monthly book and they're asking her to do this cover. And she takes it, and maybe she didn't realize that she would run out of time, or whatever the case may be. Look, it's not brain surgery. It's just comics. We don't need to get bent out of shape about it. We just, we gotta take care of these people. And I know we can't create like a union where they have medical and dental and this and that. But damn, they need to feel like they can do anything they want any day because they're still viable. Because a lot of these guys are very good still.
And the thing is that's one of the reasons why I wish to God more of them would be willing to come on and talk with us and everything, and do some videos where they're drawing. Those are skills that need to be passed on. So that like one of the things I talk about inkers, like real, like true inkers, like people who like the old school have all those old school techniques. There's not a lot of them left anymore, like art, Joe Weems, like when these guys start to go, those skills need to be passed on to people, man. I'm serious, because once they're gone, they're gone.
Well, did you hear Disney Animation? They fell upon that exact problem. Like they put all their eggs in it's a wire puppet, and so people can kind of move the puppet reasonably well. And then they can act out these characters. And I'm not trying to take anything away from them, but what happened is they kind of forgot how to really put a heart and soul in the character.
Yeah.
It became very technical. And so then they brought is it Eric? Is his name Goldberg? Is that the genie artist, Pedro?
Yeah.
In Aladdin?
Eric Goldberg, yeah.
Goldberg. They brought him in, some other guys, and they basically gave these guys, an animation, 101 course, so that they could try to exactly what you're saying, Bob, is not lose the art of animation.
You want to see something funny? You got to see the tools they created for Chicken Little.
Yeah, I think I've seen that before.
Yeah, the movie's
squash and stretch.
Yeah, the squash and stretch tools they did, because they brought basically retired Disney animators. They're like, how can we capture the magic? So he went with the developers of Maya and said, okay, we need tools that do this. I need to do this with a pencil. And even though Chicken Little is a horrible movie, that kind of saved a little bit, and the techniques are evolving. But yeah, I received the animation trainer from Lee Mishkin, which is an animator from the 50s. He was almost blind, and you don't see it anymore. There's animation that I can't watch because
it's got no soul.
It's a corpse.
Yeah,
that's moving, flapping its lips. But I don't know, some here and there you see things even in CGI that are really good, but it's mostly trash.
Yeah, I watched Pamela and I watched this. It's what is it? It's Ollie and Frank or something like that. It's
Frank and Ollie.
Frank and Ollie, that documentary. I mean, it's ancient, but it's so fun to watch. And I was kind of watching a little bit, and my wife comes up and she's like, "What are you watching?" And I told her, and then she just kind of sat down and she was just going to watch a little bit of. She watched the whole thing. These guys are characters. These guys are able to bring flesh and blood and life and energy to these characters. It's not just about a technical drawing. It's about like creating their book is called The Illusion of Life, right?
Illusion of Life, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so they're able to do that. And I just think like some of these things they don't get moved down. And to your point, Bob, what's happening in comics right now? Yeah, there it is, right there. Yeah, is editorial. You know, we talk about it on Pontificators. I know Todd brings it up quite a bit. Is that the art of being an editor? I'll actually just say it's dead.
It's dead. They're glorified secretaries now.
There are no editors anymore. I'll actually just say it. There are still comic book artists. There's still talent out there. There are no real editors anymore. I was seriously thinking about this the other day versus like editors in the day. Editors in the day, like when I got hired, they were almost like mentors as well. Like they would
keepers of the characters.
Yeah, they would school you not just on the characters, but on the way to do things. Like there are rules. Like you have a character enter from the left to the right. You know, I never knew that. Like, you know, because we look at everything from left to right. And really, if you want to have a character, you still have to move characters the other direction sometimes, but as kind of a basic rule. And specifically, if you want a character to look like they're moving fast, always do it left to right, because that's how our eye moves. So if you see the other way, like psychologically, you're slowing it down. But the other way, you know, there's all kinds of tricks like that. You know, like you never crop a character in an establishing shot, especially a character that's flying from the waist out. You know, because it looks weird. You know, it's like, okay, I'm flying, right? And you just see this, but you don't know I'm flying. You know what I mean? Because you don't see the lower half. So whenever you show a character flying, you usually have to show the whole figure, because the reader needs to know that information, unless you're doing it as a reveal, you know, unless it's like a mystery that they're flying, you know what I mean? And so you want to keep the reader in suspense, and then the payoff is that they're flying. You know, there's all kinds of ways to break the storytelling rule, but these were rules that I had no idea happened. And I remember, like with Mike Carlin, there was I was doing finishes on Adventures of Superman, and there was an establishing shot, right? And so I was a little bit behind on schedule, and I kind of wanted to do, it was like a 3-page scene or whatever, and it was just a dialogue scene, a lot of talking heads. And I thought to make it interesting and also to speed up on the deadline is I would silhouette these things. Even though Dan Jurgens drew the whole figure and the faces and everything, I would silhouette, you know, the stuff. And I thought it would be interesting, you know, like kind of Frank Miller, kind of keep things in shadow and make it interesting. Also, so it stands out from, you know, some of the other, you know, elements in the story. And so then Mike gets the pages back. He goes, "What is this?" I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You silhouetted these characters in an establishing shot." I go, "So?" He goes, "No one knows who these guys are." You have to establish them. And so I was like, well, you can kind of tell, like in the silhouettes and stuff. He goes, no. And then he told me how to do it. He sent the pages back. And really all I had to do is clarify a few key scenes that he saw, clarify those with establishing, you know, elements. And then the scene plays out fine. But that was his expertise. You know what I mean? That's like storytelling expertise. I seriously doubt that any editors, and if I'm speaking wrongly and there's editors listening, I'm sorry. But the ones that I've seen before I left DC Comics, they were not like that.
Yeah, they're glorified second. The few that I think like are good editors, I think are just bullied into silence. But the few of them that are, just
they
like,
lost a lot of them when they made the move to Burbank.
Right? I know that. Like, God, they fired
those guys. Those guys were like, granted, they wouldn't have quit. They would have died in comics, and that's okay because that's the way it goes. But they weren't going to move from Fairfield, Connecticut to Burbank, California for just 10 more years of doing the Superman line or whatever. So they just sort of got left behind. I'm sure there's more to it than that. We can get one of them on. But I'm sure there's more to it than that. If they were asked, do you want to go or do you want to stay? And maybe they said, well, I got a home. I got,
Exactly. Yeah, I have a life. I have friends. I have family.
You got roots.
And also, like Burbank isn't cheap. I mean,
That's another thing, man.
Yeah, it's expensive, and unless you're getting some serious cash, you can't really afford to live in that area. So
I wonder if they are knocking themselves for actually going out there, because
some of them have to be.
It isn't getting any better. Some of the things that are going on right now in California are terrible.
Not just in California, but in the country, it's just exacerbated even more there.
But also, I mean, like DC, they just gave up their offices in Burbank, their prestigious offices. Now they're going to be in some kind of warehousing situation where it's first come, first serve to get, their desks in the morning.
I hate that name.
No, it sounds kind of nasty.
Because Pedro probably had to work like that at some point.
Yeah, exactly. Like hot bucking says, like you fart and you leave, and then you close the door. Like, no, man, like, what the hell?
Dutch ovening.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or you have to fight for your workspace every morning. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you come in and you do one of those things where you're tied at the wrist and you both have like switchblades.
I did work in a company that was imploding, which was like a TV station, and dude, like you get that feeling, like, okay, we need your computer to render something else from another. Like, what? Like, yeah, like. That's how it feels. Like it's
I got
not
shit
better,
to do, man.
yeah, exactly. It's not getting better, and people are like, no, things are fine. Like, dude, DC has no offices. Things are not fine.
It's and like that whole story when that broke about what DC losing their office spacing like that, and they were like, oh, it's not the big deal. It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, dude.
It shows you how high where you are on the hierarchy of things.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, the thing is, like if you look at it, it's like, well, the prestige of working at DC Comics. We have a killer, area code or zip code, in Burbank, and we can see the Warner Brothers movie studio from here, and we have 2-3 floors of all designed, architecturally designed rooms and decor, and we have coffee machines. We have all these things, kind of thing. And then, it's gone. So then you're like being warehoused in an area that you don't even have your own personal space to work in. That's gotta be really, really hard on your, what do they call that? Like your pride, not your pride, but the way you
view psyche.
What's that?
Your psyche.
Well, anxiety, but
just your self-esteem.
Yeah, your esteem. Yeah, how you view the company, what you think the company thinks of you. If that doesn't tell you that you're just a spoke in the wheel, nothing will. Yeah. It's like it's just taking away. From somebody in that situation is never a good
morale.
Thing.
Your morale.
Yeah, morale. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, morale.
Greg said that.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. Like your morale goes way, way down.
Yeah.
And if you don't think everybody at DC Comics doesn't acknowledge that they're on some kind of sinking ship right now, they might not admit it outwardly, but they are. Like I'm not saying that DC will go away. I'm not predicting anything long term. But holy shit, the situation that they're in right now.
Yeah, real the Silverlog said, teach these Vienna sausage people how to write heroes by having personal combat, protect us space, expand their horizons.
Dude. I don't know.
But but like we were talking about, like just the decay of the abilities and everything. Look at that spirit animation we looked at, and compare that to the stuff that they do today.
Yeah,
that thing was just like Pedro said. That thing was mostly just keyframes and a little bit of finished line work, and that thing had crazy amounts of life,
heart. Life. It had heart. It had life. It had character,
personality.
Yeah, it had all those things. And just to add to our point, Brad Bird doesn't work for Pixar anymore. He went over to, is it Blue Sky or whatever?
No, Skydance.
Skydance.
Yeah, Skydance.
That's John Lasseter and
John Lasseter,
Glenn Keane and all the greats are there.
Yeah, that's what Lasseter formed Skydance after he left DreamWorks, right?
After he got fired from Pixar, the company that he created.
Yeah, for being huggy.
Yeah.
You know, that's the ultimate fuck you that I can't wait for it to come to fruition. I can't wait to see the first thing that they put out, and I hope it kicks all their asses, because how dare you, man? I hate hearing stories like this. I absolutely hate it. That guy has done more. He has done more for Disney, for Pixar, for the art form,
for the craft.
For everything, than most of those guys ever will do. And you treat him like that,
dude. The thing is, like, this was like a proto Skydance move. Like when he just got fired, Glenn Keane took him to China. I always say China like Donald Trump, sorry, but Glenn Keane took John Lasseter to China, and they made like a Chinese animated film that had like Glenn Keane keys and John Lasseter's expertise. Dude, it's beautiful. The thing is, like, it's very Chinese. And you can find it on Netflix. It's like dealing with death and like how ghosts like look after kids. It's very, I don't know. It wouldn't fly, but dude.
It would, it would be weird. It would be weird here, but I think I've seen it. It's pretty awesome.
But the expertise, the animation, the acting is beyond Pixar.
Yeah, I would love to see those guys like do something like kind of what we're doing, create our own like heart and soul projects.
Yeah.
I know that Tony and Tom Bancroft have been dabbling in this for decades now. You know, I think Animal Crackers is Tony's, or it's partially his. I don't know if that ever came out, but these guys, they left Disney because they saw the writing on the wall. And so they've been doing their own thing for decades now. And I would love to see a lot of these guys. They still have the chops, you know, go in and just prove not only like to Disney and these other, you know, Pixar and these other companies, but also I would love to see them try to bring the 2D elements and show, because when Hollywood signed off and said 2D's dead, everything's 3D, everything's computer, I was like, screw you. Like how can you say that? It's all story, it's all character, it's all the feel of it. It has nothing to do with like the technical aspects of it. Because I mean, I think that what was it? The last one Disney did was The Princess and the Frog.
No, the last CD was Home on the Range, which was
it Home on the Range?
Cows. Yeah, with cows. Yeah.
Okay.
The Princess and the Frog was a comeback, but that was like a one shot thing.
Okay. Well, the thing is, like, those movies, they just didn't have the story. They just didn't have the character. Yeah. They just didn't capture an audience. But to say that it was because it wasn't 3D, I don't think consumers, I don't think the average moviegoer makes those distinctions.
Well, like Lilo and Stitch, people think that like a bunch of that stuff was actually CGI. That was all it was all cell shaded. No, all the ship movements, all of it.
No, but the ships were CGI.
The ships were CGI models, but then they drew over top of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because they did like Iron Giant, like the genius of Iron Giant is they went low tech instead of high tech. Like that's part of like why CG and like 3D and 2D didn't work, is because they would try to match the 2D to the 3D, and they just especially in the early days they didn't work. So like the reason Iron Giant was so genius is because they took the 3D and they played that down. So it looked like line art, you know what I mean? Like it looked like hand-drawn stuff, but it was actually 3D modeled and all that and animated.
Yeah. But that same thing applies to comic book art today. Yeah. You know, you compare the comic book art of, you know, everyone they love crapping on the 90s, but you compare the comic book art from the 90s, the 80s, and the 90s, and you compare it to today, it's night and day. There's still some people in the mainstream that do good work. But the overwhelming vast majority just doesn't have any heart in it. It just feels like paper dolls.
Yeah,
I've
'cause
learned,
a
I've
lot
learned
of,
a
Mhm,
lesson along the way that the
mhm.
more realistic you go, the less it's liked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you lose the humanity. There's something else about, and I've noticed this um, just recently, like drawing on black and white. Like I've never had this benefit before where I could actually spend more time with the artwork. And then what inevitably is happening for me is that the more I work on it and the more I give myself permission to change and to evolve as I'm working. I don't mean as like necessarily as an artist, but evolve story or character or come up with different ideas along the way. I'm noticing I'm learning the character. I'm learning the story more. I'm more engaged. And where I'm going with this is like I think when there's a certain amount of time and there's a certain amount of energy that you have to put in, meaning you're drawing this stuff. You know what I mean? Like you're creating this stuff that you have more of a humanity. You have more of an attachment to it. So these things happen, they just happen organically. You know what I mean? Because you're putting all this time, this energy, like how would this character feel? What would they do? And when I was working for Marvel and DC, it's just kind of like you didn't have the time to even think that way, really. You just had to do the first idea, get it down, and then move on because you had a deadline. And so I think when these artists, these Disney guys, these animators, this the innovators of the art form would draw, they were spending real time with these characters. You know what I mean? They were drawing each one of these cells. They were flipping or drawings. They were flipping it back and forth. They were invested. They were looking in the mirror. They were acting it out as they were doing. It wasn't a wire puppet that they were just like, well, maybe if I move it a few more increments, it'll look more. Maybe if I open the mouth a little bit more, like it'll look like it has more personality. Like it's more mechanical than it is organic. It's less of an investment, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. It's less of of your own time, your own spirit, your own energy that you're investing in this thing. You're removed from the process. Yeah, they can move faster. Yeah, maybe they can make more money, but the humanity is what is going away, I think, personally.
Yep,
Yeah.
pretty much. Like I don't know. Like I mean, I think 40% said like I don't have a problem with using 3D frames. Like I mean, I have nothing against CGI, and now that I'm doing comic books, I thought, but I see people like they use 3D models, like they pose them and they like trace their character on top of them, and it goes for stiff posing. But I don't know, coming from the realm of animation, maybe I'm just talking out of my ass. Like I don't know, because stiff posing in animation is like, dude, you don't do that. It's like, what are you doing? You're an animator. And here, like I see some like beautifully rendered stiff posing. I don't know. I don't know if I was meaning to ask like how important is that in the
Well, it's just
comic
that
book realm?
I think a lot of people they use like those 3D doll programs and stuff like that
Yeah.
to get it. Like I think that's fine. Like I've used them before to get like the idea and like the pace, the placement of everything down.
Yeah.
But it just like when you're drawing, you can't. It's gotta be interesting and exciting.
Yeah.
There has to be something. That's the thing I think that a lot of CGI stuff today loses is that cool factor, that thing that you're like, that's really cool, that's really interesting. And to Todd's to what Todd said about like how the more realistic everything gets, the less people like it. I think it's all part of it is because of that uncanny valley, but I also think it's just not interesting. There's nothing exciting in it, like we could see people that look like us all the time.
Yeah.
I want to see cool stuff. I want to see something badass.
Well, it's also like what I was trying to say earlier. It relies more on like that they fool you that it's human instead of creating a character that is human.
It feels like it's
alive.
I mean?
Yeah, that's alive. So it's like you're like they'll be able to reproduce, Princess Leia, all they want, or like young Luke Skywalker, but to actually get it to emote, to actually get it to fool you that there's a character, there's a person there, there's all the, that's going to be something else. You know what I mean? And that's going to be the trick. But to tell you the truth, I don't think that's where their head's even at. I don't think they even really care, because it's just about the technology and fooling the consumer just enough to think like, oh man, look at that. That's pretty amazing, you know. But you know, when we just like looked at the spirit stuff, there's more character and personality and humanity in those drawings than there was in anything that we've seen lately, as far as, you know, like, God, all that stuff that they did with Luke Skywalker and
what was the Mandalorian?
Like, who cares? Like, what was it, the Mandalorian, or was it in the what's the other one with the bounty? Boba Fett, Book of Boba Fett. I was like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, they didn't give the character anything to do. There was no soul. There was no heart. There was no nothing. It was just like, we were supposed to just go, oh shit, look at Luke. Yeah, it's Luke. That's all. That's as far as it went. It just went as far. That's it. You know. Oh, it's Luke. Yeah, and so that was pretty much it. So I do think like what you were saying earlier, Bob, that there is a loss in translation, generationally speaking. You know, there's a lot of just things that aren't being passed on, and that's going to be a shame. You know, because like even Brad Bird and a lot of those key Disney animators, they would talk about like being mentored by like Eric Larson. You know, the Disney Eric Larson. It's Eric Larson, right, Pedro?
Yeah, there's an Eric Larson in Disney.
Yeah, and then like Ollie and Frank and
Ollie
just
and Frank and
different
Fred
mentors.
Moore.
That stayed there and kind of mentored those guys, and so a lot of that stuff was transferred over, you know, generationally speaking. And so then, you know, Disney had another decade or so of like animators that still had that skill. But what there's a saying that it's always the third generation that'll fuck it up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like the first generation creates it, the second generation, you know, acknowledge it and like, you know,
refines it,
learns off of it, and then the third generation just has contempt for it and just
and spends the money
Yeah.
But I mean, they're citing Arcane, and that's an awesome example of what you can do with what you can accomplish with CG. So it's not that it's impossible or that nobody else can do it.
You got to put time and heart and effort. It's the level of creativity and your passion for it.
No, and have the nous to basically hone your craft to achieve that level.
Yeah.
But the industry right now is just, dude, money. Can you do it? Can you do it? Do it now. I need it now. I need it yesterday.
Yeah, you're not done with it. Good enough. Let's take it.
Yeah,
let's go.
Let's do it. You can't accomplish amazing things with that kind of work ethic. You know, it's
well,
not
I think
happen.
when you have somebody like your mentor is Walt Disney, and he says we're not going to publish it until it's right. You know what I mean? That makes a big difference. I got to say hi to Richard. I didn't see him. Hey, Richard, what's up, man? Great conversation, guys. I'm listening and making dinner. I hope it's mac and cheese.
Bon appetit.
Yeah.
One of the things that you can do like now and look back on some of the things that they were expressive to us, and but you can see in things like the Cosby Kids or the Flintstones, tons of reusable assets.
Yeah.
As they were generating cartoons, they were generating reusable assets. So it was easy. You would think that, you know, 2D animation would still have its place where it could still be expressive and have some life to it and some soul to it, because all it takes is like 2 or 3 years of a cartoon, and now you have, you know, all these assets, and you can make it for the next 4 or 5 years with very low budget, and you can put more into the stories and getting good guest stars and stuff. And it's not like that anymore. It's just crazy.
But then it's like the shows that are really good don't get the airtime. Like, for example, like you're citing like the Cosby Kids and whatnot. That's from the school of Hanna-Barbera. Like they invented limited animation. basically animation for TV. Because before that, it was just like shorts for movies. And in 1959, that was declared illegal with block booking. So all the animators were on their ass. Joseph Hahn and William Barbera developed limited animation. They started with Crusader Rabbit and whatnot. And you see the spirit of that in Adult Swim shows. For example, Mike Tyson Adventures.
Yeah. Dude, that show is
amazing
freaking
show.
hilarious.
Amazing show. And
Yeah.
dude, nobody knows about it. Not that many.
Yeah.
It's not as famous as it should be. So it's not that people are not working. It's just like it's this focus of quick money and appeasement of a crowd that's doesn't really, it's not there or doesn't really spend any money. So you get highlight like the Owl House. Like I tried to watch the Owl House. That like, dude, unwatchable. And it was everywhere. Watch the Owl House. Watch the Owl House. Like, okay, I watched it. No. And, you know,
It was like, no.
Yes. Just,
Well,
But,
I think there's this thing too. Okay, so when you create something from scratch, from nothing, there's a part where you have to prove not just to the consumer but to yourself that you can do it. So I love stuff like Superman, the Chris Reeves, the first one. The mantra for the film became the tagline for the film. You will believe a man could fly, because they realized if they couldn't do that, they didn't have a film, right? So when Walt Disney was like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, they realized if they can't bring life to these characters, if they can't bring pathos, if they can't bring that like a good actor can, they have nothing. So those guys worked their asses off to try to get that into the film so that you could feel for a drawing. You know what I mean? Like a drawing could make you cry. You know, a drawing could uplift your soul. It could do this. So there's a different set of rules. You know what I mean? When you're doing stuff like that, it's inspiring because you have to prove that it can work. So I think that's a lot different than, you know, over decades, you know, film school, all these things. It just becomes like, you know, it's just a wire, but we're going to animate it. We're going to do it. You know, it's no problem. We can do anything now with CGI. You know, there just isn't the same kind of investment. And like I just like even the Matrix, where like the Matrix was like, what is the Matrix? Like the whole way they had to sell the Matrix to the Warner Brothers studio, if you guys know anything about the behind the scenes, is they had to time and time again try to explain what the Matrix was to the executives so they would understand it. So if you watch that first Matrix movie and even the tagline, it's how they sold the movie. What is the Matrix? The
Matrix. It was an inside joke.
Each one of the acts of the Matrix explains what the Matrix is. It illustrates it time and time again. And so I really like stuff like that. And I think that's what like heats it up, right? It's like, I have to prove that this will work. And so there's an extra like little bit of energy that's put there. So what I'm hoping, like, is it Skydance? Is that what you guys said?
Skydance is the new studio.
Like what I'm hoping is those guys will have that spirit, just like Comicsgate. Like Comicsgate has that spirit, you know, like we're behind the eight ball. We have something to prove. You know what I mean? So we can't just put out anything. We got to put out the best of our you know, our careers. You know, we got to really shine. We got to put this stuff out because there's so many people that we have to prove our worthiness to. You know what I mean? Like it's a whole different level. And we've all kind of, you know, done creative ventures, and we know that when you have that kind of like, I have to show you or I'll show you attitude, you almost always do better work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, we're past 2 hours, Art.
Okay, because you have something to prove. You have something to prove to people.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, and I think that's a good place to be. Well, I hope you guys all enjoyed the Let's Just Wing It
rambling of us.
Yeah, somehow we pulled it off, man. We kept it going. Yeah, and Pedro, thanks for bringing the guitar and doing Name That Tune. We did prog rock, so if you guys came in late, you know, go back and see if you can get some of those tunes, see if you can name them before we do. And it's always fun hanging out with you guys. Pontificators is definitely a highlight. What's that, Todd?
The chat should hit us up with some ideas of what they'd like to have us talk about. I mean, we could
Good
talk
idea.
about artists who came and went like that, but were great.
Mm-hmm.
There's many of those Jordan
But,
Rashkins out there.
Books that they wished would like creators would like crowdfund like a
What's
new
it,
issue of it or whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, like and just like any stories that are coming up, like I've got one that I think we could talk about. That's going to be, I think it's going to turn into a major hot topic.
Yeah,
I'll tell you guys about that when we're done. But,
okay, so yeah, let's make the next name that tune one hit wonders.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Nelson will not be in that again because they had two hit songs before.
That like 2 hits. Yeah.
Sick of them.
Well, I better hear some Wham! Wake Me Up Before You Go.
We got to do we haven't done a Confiscate in Demand for a long time.
Oh yeah, we could do that as well. And
Yeah.
Todd used to be really good at talent scouting and getting interesting people in here. So maybe we could
Danky's
do
got a
that.
good idea. Crossover show with Gabe and Santa. That'd be fun. But yeah, man, we got after the video post, guys, leave some ideas in the description below.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, that would be great. Because everything that Todd says, it just bores the shit out of me. So
Oh Jesus! Wow.
Todd is the what was the name of the guy that was Ben Stein? Remember Ben Stein from like Ferris
Dead
Bueller?
face.
Oh, yeah.
He's like
The
Todd is
deadpan
the
thing.
Ben Stein of CG.
Just deadpan.
Can you even name, like, tell me where Jordan Raskin comes from? Like, name a book he worked on.
He comes from Peru.
Do you know who I'm talking about, Art?
On a potato. Like, I don't know.
No, I don't even know who he is.
He was going to do that Ripclaw series at Top Cow because he had made it big. Like, he drew Predator, and he was the first person to draw that sort of shimmery look that he had. Like, he had developed a way to make it, look like from the movies and stuff. And
wow.
he got really, really big, and then all of a sudden disappeared.
Yeah, I'm actually. He did a Ripclaw miniseries, didn't he?
He was
Back in the
supposed to
day.
do one, and
I thought he did one back in the day, and was going to do it, and was going to do a relaunch of it, and then it just disappeared.
He only did like one issue, and then something happened.
Okay. Because I looked him up, and I'm like, oh, I remember this.
I'm writing this down. I think this would be fun, and we could
We
could all bring stuff in, and we could do a Where Are They Now? So we could it'd be like a spotlight, but it'll be on like talent that will look
kind of disappeared.
That could turn really sad. Like, now, like, he works at a gas station now in the middle of Route 60.
Well, dude, I'm gonna tell you what, man. Maybe while we're looking through this,
Chance Wolf makes puppets.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Well, like maybe we look at this, but like, man, that guy.
Well, you know what?
We need to talk to that guy because maybe we can get that guy to do something.
Well, there's Larry Stucker that worked at Extreme Studios, who's an inker, and then when Extreme kind of went away, he started working at Hack Shack. So I gave him a job outside of the studio, and so we started doing mainstream work. And so he was inking Todd Knock at DC, and then he just kind of dropped away. And I remember talking to him some years after. I mean, this was years ago now. And I asked him, so what are you doing now? Because I knew he had a family, he got married and stuff. And he goes, I created an underwater camera for whatever. And I was like, oh shit. You know what I mean? It's like back on animation. Wasn't the guy that voiced Tigger? Didn't he create the first artificial heart? Like
or something like that.
Something like that.
He made like a transplant. Like he put a pig's heart on a person. It was something very weak, very like
it was
out there.
No, it was what is his name?
It's escaping my mind right now.
It was the guy before Cummings. God, what was his name? But yeah, he came up with like the artificial heart or something like that.
Yeah.
And so this could go the other way too. Like we could find like these guys were just too good to do comic.
He works at NASA now. Like,
well, it's like Stephen Platt. You know, Stephen Platt is a major player. I think last time I heard he was like working at Marvel. So he's doing storyboards and design and stuff like that.
Well,
And
I did knew a Disney animator that ended up working at NASA for a while. So yeah, that's George Mitchell. Like he was the recruiter in the '90s from Lion King all the way up to Lilo and Stitch. Like he was the recruiter and then like he resigned.
Wow.
Paul Mitchell.
Wow.
Paul Winchell was the guy. Yeah.
Yeah, Paul Winchell.
So yeah, we could do that. That would be fun. So like we'll have some homework, and so each one of us should come up with like 2 or 3 different. Where are they now? We'll do a little bit of research and see.
Yeah. Let's make like 2 happy, 1 sad. So.
Do you remember the show? God, was it on MTV or whatever?
Where are they now?
Where are they now? And like Berlin. What have they done since?
Yeah, it's like no, the lead guitarist became a heroin addict, and now
dude,
that's like oh my god.
Wouldn't they then they'd go to each one of the members individually and go, would you be willing to do a reunion or to do another show? And they'd go never.
That's how they actually got the New Kids on the Block to get back together.
Oh man.
Did they?
Yeah, because what was his name? Was it Wahlberg's brother who was in that band?
Danny?
He was like, hell no.
Oh, dude. Remember? You remember that station E Entertainment? Like they did like E True Hollywood Story. Like, dude, they hit me back to back with like Gary Coleman, Emmanuel Lewis. Like one story was one horrible story after the other. Like I tapped out, man. Like I can't do that.
Yeah. Well, the other thing about that E True Hollywood Stories is that they would deliberately like go into the darkest things, like
dude.
And I guess they actually got in trouble because some of the stuff that they were put out was just like things that were never substantiated.
Oh, okay.
Like they did one on Rosalind Russell, and who was like she was like another blonde. She was the other blonde bombshell besides Marilyn Monroe, and then like that's she like all this stuff that she supposedly did an X-rated movie to make money and all this.
Yeah.
And turned out that it was all that was like some of that was rumor, and then like her family like sued them.
Yeah,
that's what they get. Explain this real quick. Okay, thank you, Frank. Where is Lovins now? There was this stalker guy named Mike Lovins, and so we did it during a live stream. So I was talking a little bit about this guy, and then somebody, it might have been Danky Frankie, found this guy online and sent me a link, and I was like, "Oh shit, man! He did do a comic book." So go back in my old, YouTube, shows, and you might find it. But yeah, that was kind of like what we're talking about. Go back and see, what these guys are doing now and how they're doing. And I don't know, it might not all end up bad. It might end up like
if you find a really bad one, just be like, yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
I know so many. I have so many on the top of my head, and that it hasn't turned. A lot of them didn't turn out bad for him.
Yeah,
like Rudolfo DiMaggio, he's doing storyboards. He's done some really big movies like Hidalgo and
a lot of them went into movies and stuff, TV and stuff. So video games. Joe Mad, and he went into video games. So, but
so there's a lot of people that have gone on to greener pastures. So yeah, that'll be fun. So we'll do that next week, you guys. And if anybody in the chat, like Bob said, put it in the description. Anybody you guys want us to follow up on, or if you have any information, let us know, and we'll talk about it next week on the Pontificators. So I want to thank everybody in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks, Todd. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Pedro. We miss Clint Holinsky this week.
Yeah.
And Joe Sontag.
Dude, I have things to show to Clint. Oh, he's not here.
Who?
Save it.
Oh, yeah. For Clint. For Clint.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys also are you still funding? You're still funding, right? You have 17 days left for.
You talking me? Yes.
Yeah. So you guys, Tropical Magics is Pedro Eng's book right now. It's on Indiegogo. It's still live.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me. And the link is in the description. So go out and pick yourself up a copy. That is Tropical Magics by Pedro Ang.
Yeah.
And of course, near and dear, we have Black and White Volume 2. So check that out. That is in the description as well. So thanks again, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Take care.